Yep,
Yeah.
that's the life.
We don't know yet what she's considering, so
Mhm.
we don't, depending on how the
Oh,
weather
it's
is,
that.
we might want to make them up, but we can't.
So I'm gonna do.
Yeah, they had their first games this last Saturday. They lost both, but they did a lot better than I was expecting. They're both like really close to me.
Well, and it's funny is when she walked in, I looked at her and I said, you don't have a second grade basketball.
course not.
But the boys are on the other side. Just a little bit changing it.
You want a couple of these?
Sure.
If I need it, I'll probably pull it up. Mhm.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. First up is additions to and or approval of the agenda.
Motion approved?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, agenda is approved as presented. Any visitors to be heard? Seeing none, we will go on to the consent agenda.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion there?
I'm excited to see we've got our 5 applicants for the Lennox Citizens Academy all signed up, ready to rock.
2 more, I think, after that.
Fantastic. Good news. And of course, we're all excited to see the results of the utility rate study.
Well, we received some updated documents today, I think, so we're trying to get one last meeting in before Christmas. Just to wrap up a few things, but we did get the financial policy draft today as well, so we'll be reviewing that and have everything ready on the 8th, I think is our
Yes.
first meeting in January.
Sounds good. All right, we had a motion and a second, so we will do a roll call. Mauer.
Aye.
Doherty.
Aye.
Swear.
Aye.
Riley.
Aye.
Welch.
Aye.
Consent agenda is approved. See no old business, right on to new business. Item A, Central Basin 4, project payout 8.
Good evening, everyone. Pay request number 8 for Central Basin. Number 4 is just a progress payment. Gets the contractor paid out to kind of what they've installed for this year. And just to give a little update on the project and when everything is wrapped up for this year, there is probably going to be some continuing work on the bore underneath the railroad, the jacking bore. We're waiting for a schedule for them to know exactly when they are going to be on site doing that work. So we'll share that as soon as we have that from them, but I would expect over this meeting we'll see that progress. And then as things thaw out in the spring, we'll see those last couple phases started again. So the payout tonight, just like I said, just gets them paid up to what they have installed now. We are retaining on the contract as well. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd recommend approval.
How is it staying right around budget or?
Yeah.
On the grant?
So far, I'd say we're probably heading a little under budget if anything, but,
Make motion to approve.
Second.
We have motion and a second. Any discussion there? All right, we'll do roll call. Swear.
Aye.
Welch.
Aye.
Riley.
I will abstain.
Doherty. Mauer.
Aye.
All right. Pay app 8 passes. Item B, 2023 slurry seal project change order 2 and pay app 2.
we're still waiting for pay app 2 and actually change order number 2. We had to resubmit that back to the contractor, and I was hoping that they would get that to us today, but we didn't see it from them, so I would ask that you table.
Motion to table.
Second.
Motion and second to table. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll revisit that in the future. Item C, library grants. So, thank you, Mitch.
Good evening, council and mayor. So there's 3 grants in your packet. One of them is Penguin Random House Grants for small and rural libraries. It's a grant for $1,000 to help support circulation in your collection of your library. So it'd be $1,000 for notebooks. What my plan is for this one is to try to get some of those nonfiction books that I was trying for earlier on that Rob C. grant that we didn't get. So that's what I would do with that one there. The other one is through the ARSL, the Association for Rural and Small Libraries. Oops, that's the same one, sorry. I think something got plugged together here. Okay, the other one is, it's Accessible Small and Rural Library Communities Round 2. It's through the American Library Association, a part of them. And that one is to help try to submit for the other half of the grant for the library circulation desk. So that's what that one is. And that one I'm going for, you can go for either the 10 or the 20, because you can't go for one and then hope that you can get the other. You have to apply for one, and then if you don't get the 20, they'll consider you for the 10,000. So I'm going for one of the 2 there. And then the last one is through Giving Hope Inc. That's the bingo place up there on, is it Sertoma? Neil is the contact up there. We did this last year, so what he does is he sends an email out to a contact in Parkston, and we get with the libraries in the southeast area down here. We put together a request for what we would use the money for. Notice there is no number in there. We just put in there what we want, and then whatever Giving Hope has available to give to us will then be sent out as one check to be divvied up between the 6 to 8 libraries that we have through the Friends of the Library in Freeman. They would be handling the money to divvy it all out to us. So that one I'm just asking for funds like I have in the past to help support possible prizes or performers and things like that towards the summer reading program. I think last year I got $260. So,
Sounds about right.
yeah. So it's anywhere from $250 to maybe we could get $1,000 each. It just depends on how their fundraising and stuff has been going and what they have available. So that's what I'm looking for.
Nice work putting these together.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion?
And this is all great stuff, but is there a way that unless there's like a matching fund that, for grants, and I'm just saying for future, like all grants, that we just run them up? Like, do we have to
Oh, I see what
approve?
you're saying.
Like, is there a way, and it's fine, but I'm
Right,
just
it-
Oh,
asking.
here?
yeah,
Yeah, is there a way that we can authorize you to review the grants?
like
and
you
if
said,
we-
especially if there's no matching funds. then-
Yeah, I mean-
Yeah.
Because you guys are perfectly capable. I don't care. Why do we need to give you the okay to apply for free money? That's, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It's a waste of your time. It's what,
I mean,
to be.
the argument for you still approving would be that you are the fiscal, keepers of the city. But again, it's not asking for an appropriation, there's no matching dollars.
And that
You
might
could do that by just adding it to the consent agenda, if there's,
I don't know if
it's
it's a
for non-controversial items.
procedural item or
Right.
something that you, maybe when you update policies and procedures.
Right, I mean, we've been using consent agenda for probably four years now, I suppose.
Best thing ever.
It's been going really well, so.
Best thing ever. But great stuff. Building the grants.
Either way, I'd have to show up because I gotta hit submit on one of these by 11 o'clock tonight
Oh.
or midnight tonight. So either way, I'd have to come over to
Could've done
listen
it
to
in
the
5
answer.
days.
I know, I could have done it earlier, but anyways.
But that's what I mean, instead of,
Right.
if you don't have a reason, there's.
Operationally, there are times where it's like, we're gonna miss a deadline because we find out about it late, and there's not a council meeting between.
Yeah, and that's something to just.
Yeah, That does happen,
Makes sense.
it's not often, but it does happen.
Oh, you're fine. So we had a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Push submit.
Push
Get that.
submit. I will do that.
Hope you got a computer with you.
Yeah.
No, I gotta run back to the, it's all good, it's all good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next item D, garbage hauler license renewal.
Mayor and council, we received applications for renewal from 3 of our 4 haulers, Novak, RBS, and AOK. At this time, the only missing item, I did not check this, but I think we may have received a county hauler license for Novak. We know they've applied.
No bad, yes.
Yeah, and then we're checking on AOK, so they all have current licenses, the question is whether they're going to have licenses on the 26th, which is when the county approves them, so. We also talked today about whether we need to change our timing to push this back after the county approves theirs. It just makes a little bit more sense. But overall, everything looks to be in order. I'd recommend a motion to approve renewal, pending receipt of all required documents.
So moved.
What happened with Ruse?
I don't know that they've had a whole lot of traction here. When they received their notices, they've never responded to any of our correspondence, so.
I just hope we don't have any citizens that are counting on them and service stop.
Well, I could say that I've seen maybe 1 garbage can. I'm not sure when they pick up though. I assume it's not Monday, but, yeah, I just don't think they do a whole lot of business here.
Okay. I'll second that.
So a motion and a second, any discussion there?
I guess kind of along these lines, there's been some discussion with some of the community of some misinterpreting, I think, our rules on how often they have to come pick up, and that they can no longer offer a every 2-week service. Does that need to be addressed, or
That is what the ordinance says, it has to be weekly. If
they have
that's
to
something.
offer a weekly, I think, but
Yeah, I'm reading it, it has to be offered
Offered,
weekly,
yeah.
not that they have to pick up weekly,
Right.
is how they're interpreting it.
Well, I don't think we can require people to have any garbage up if they choose not to do that.
We can. Our ordinance does require them to have garbage service.
Really?
Yeah, it's a nuisance.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but.
If the council would wish, I can look into what the ordinance says fully, and if
yeah, maybe
if
just
correspondence is necessary to our haulers, then we can do that. If a change is necessary, then I'll.
I think there's a decent number of folks in town that were getting the bi-weekly, and
Mhm.
it's a big change.
Was it with RBS? I can't remember if that was the.
I think it
Yeah.
was,
It was RBS that changed.
and they claim they changed because our rules didn't allow it.
But our rules haven't changed, I think they just
They just
read it.
read it
A
different.
different person
Had a
read
new
it, yeah.
person that did the application and probably just read our.
Right.
Yeah. ordinance.
Yeah, I think it's worth.
I mean, I agree, it should be offered weekly, but if you don't need it weekly, I don't know if that's something we need to dictate.
Be good to get clarity.
For sure.
Easy enough. Thank you.
All right, so we had a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I can abstain.
Okay. So, 4. Item E, supplemental budget ordinance.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. I put together the ordinance 645 for the supplemental appropriations ordinance. Basically, I went through and tried to figure out what we might be short on. And so this is what I came up with. We do have 3 payrolls, so our last payroll in January has to go back to December because we're accrual. So that kind of throws us off once in a while. Did anybody have any questions on any of the amounts?
Could we go through them?
Sure. So for publishing, right now we have $946.42 in the budget, but on an average, we're doing about $1,200 a month. So I figure we're gonna be short about $1,400.
Okay.
For city admin, we knew that was gonna happen, probably that we were gonna be short, after last year when we didn't budget in, the amount that you guys decided to move him up to, so that should be expected. Legal, apparently we have some legal stuff going on.
Yeah, I'd say most of that's probably due to code enforcement issues.
So, with that, we wanted to make sure that we had enough, in there, and right now, we've got $147 left. Finance, we're just gonna be a little bit short on payrolls, so, that should, make up for the difference.
That was from making the admin assistant full-time.
Yeah. And then, general government, we had, I think the biggest thing was, Nate's repair on his, office, yeah. That kinda set us back a little bit. But that couldn't be helped, that was something that wasn't planned. Police, I'm asking for, salaries on that. I don't know, I think that it's just some overtime would go away.
Yeah, part of it's overtime, certainly not all of it though.
Right. And then, the police, the machinery and equipment is for, the traffic. For when they got the new, police car, they had to get the equipment, and I think fuel was a little bit additional, but I think mainly that amount is for the car equipment. Liability insurance, we were just short. It went up, and we didn't budget enough for it. Highway and streets, they did pretty good. I did put a little bit extra in there for payrolls. Recreation, stop me at any time if you guys have questions. Recreation, was payroll, as well, and
Hold on.
there was something
Recreation
else.
and utilities.
Was it utilities?
That was well, I think we need to go back and look at that yet, because I think that was watering for the new grass.
That's right. That's right,
And that probably should have gone to second penny.
yeah. So I guess we'll have to figure that out. We may or may not need that extra. Cause what do I have in here for it? 97. And then for parks, I just, salaries of, 2,500 was just short, a little bit. Library was 7,500, and mainly that is from, Audra gets plenty of grants, but the grant money comes in because we're two-sided, so revenue goes here, but the expense has to come out of the expense. So, really, she's not over her budget, she's just she received money, grant money, and that's what, caused that. And then economic development, we paid out, the 30,000 from there. And I think that's kinda what did that, right?
The last one,
Yeah.
4651.
Yeah.
I think we had some TIF stuff in there originally.
Oh, that's it, yes, it was TIF. So
Instead of having a pass-through on the TIF funds, they
Right.
want us to actually record it as revenue and expense, so.
Yep. Again, we get revenue
It's a
in,
washout.
and then we have to turn around and expense it out to K&N. So, yep, you're right, that's what it is. And then 201 was our recreation.
That's the recreation fund, all the
Yeah.
programs are out of there.
And I think part of that was the concessions. Cause concessions went over quite a bit.
But we also brought in,
We bought, yeah, again, revenue expense.
baseball was quite a ways over, umpire contract was also over quite a ways.
And then, third penny, we did that transfer out, so that is where that comes in, so we had to add that back in. 212 is second penny. And you remember all these, part of that was, did we do the bridge? That,
The bridge did get paid out this year instead of last year.
yeah, and then, cause I think that was a big part of it. I don't remember what the other one was. Was in streets improvement. Engineering, because of, what did the engineering for?
Well, 212 would have been the pool project,
Oh,
the
yeah,
well parking lot, I should say.
that's what it is, yeah. So the pool project and the parking lot.
And again, some of that's offset by the revenue from the school district with the cost share there.
Right, but I had to show it as revenue.
That's expensive.
And then the drainage fund, we did something with drainage, didn't we?
Engineering for the Meadows Drainage project.
There we are. I'm glad I tell you all this stuff. You remember and I don't. And then the library, that is, I think we just had a missed budget there when we were trying to figure out how much they were actually gonna pay out of there. Depends on how much they get in for donations and what they wanna spend it on. So, I just gotta get it so that it doesn't have a negative. And then the funding sources are below there. We're gonna take 19,000 out of contingency, cause that's what we have left in there. 180 out of general, 96 out of recreation, 30,000 out of third penny. 347.9 out of additional sales tax, 18 out of drainage, and 2,000 out of the library fund.
So when we have an extra payroll that hits like this, then of course there'll be an ad for next year, we'll be one payroll short.
No, because next year in January, they're gonna have to bring that back.
Okay,
So every year, we end up having to, we have that extra,
That year has to be assigned to that year. It can't
Right.
be assigned to the year in which it's paid.
it has to be
It's when
with
it's worked, yeah.
Correct.
the, yes.
It's when it's
thank you.
accredited.
But why, I guess I'm confused why that wouldn't have been budgeted that way.
Well, it is, I think some of these that we had budgeted through, there was reasons why our salaries didn't.
Yeah.
What's setting us over in some of these areas is not necessarily wages. It's just that that's the remaining expense that we have for the year.
Right.
So, when we get to November, we basically tell staff, okay, order your final stuff, no big stuff, last 6 weeks of the year. So the remaining funds, that's what really, if you look at general fund, for example, salaries comes up a few times, but not all, it comes up probably 4 times.
Yep.
With the biggest one being police, the other ones are fairly limited. We're putting it into salaries, but if you look at the bottom one, other put us over, machinery and equipment put us over in streets. Contracts and subscriptions in general, so.
But since it is an ordinance, then we need to do a first reading and then we'll need to do a second reading at the next meeting.
Be nice to see, the offsets. And what do those amount to? When you look at 607,000, it's a big number, but I think this is like half the story.
Yeah, I think when you look at, like Second Penny, for example, 345,000. The swimming pool project, we didn't have a final number when budgeted. I don't think we even had it approved yet.
Right.
So we can't budget that, but we knew we were gonna take it out of that Second Penny loan that we, or that sales tax bond that we had previously. The bridge was not paid out in 2022, so it's paid out in 2023. There's really nothing you can do about that. And those are both
Right.
they're both planned expenses, but
Yep.
unbudgeted.
No, it makes total sense.
I think if you wanna look at the detail, look at the finance report, the revenue and expense report, that'll give you the detail for where we're at on everything. Overall, feeling pretty good about where we're at this year. We are, with a month left, we've got almost all of our revenue for the year. So we're feeling pretty positive yet, so. But it is gonna require us dipping into, what's in that general fund balance.
Motion to approve ordinance 645, supplemental appropriation ordinance.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion there? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right. First reading is approved. Item F, fiscal year 2022 audit.
Mayor and council, we received the results of our 2022 audit, and we've discussed those results with our auditor. So we contract with an outside entity to prepare an annual independent audit of our financial statements and practices. Schoenfish and Associates out of Parkston. Auditors were on site several days this summer and worked remotely after that. The only finding in this audit was the continuing finding regarding segregation of duties, so that's very good news. This finding was first reported in 2001 and will continue until such time staff is large enough to further segregate individual financial duties. I don't see that happening in my time on this earth, but there it is and there it will stay. Because we received more than $750,000 in federal funding in 2022, we are required to have a corrective action plan on our audit. That's found on page 9. And just a note for future audits, we will have to step up our auditing next year, so it will cost a little bit more to have that federal portion done. So overall, we're pleased. Finance staff should be commended for their hard work in minimizing those findings, ensuring taxpayer dollars are accounted for and spent appropriately. We recommend a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion there?
Job well done.
Thanks. All right, motion second, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, fiscal year 2022 audit is accepted. If no other items, motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.